Judge O'Brien. I'm going to read you your rights, and then I'm going to talk to you about the charges that are placed on you. You have the right to remain silent. You have the right and obligation to be present at your trial. If you fail to show up for your trial, they'll place failure to appear charges against you, and you could face an additional 1 to 5 years in jail. You have the right to a trial by jury. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one can be provided for you through the public defender's office. If the charges that are placed on you are discharged, dismissed, not prosecuted, or if you're found not guilty, you have the right to have your record expunged or wiped clean from these charges. Now, you have been charged with a criminal offense, and if you are found guilty, you are facing serious consequences, which may include the payment of a fine, the loss of your driver's license, and the possibility of a jail sentence. In addition, you may face increased penalties for later convictions, the loss of your right to possess firearms or ammunition, and your immigration status could be affected. You have important constitutional rights, including the right to representation by an attorney, but you may lose those rights or waive them if you do not act to protect those rights. You have the right to hire an attorney to represent you in every case. If you cannot afford an attorney, you may be eligible for a free attorney. If you want a determination made as to whether you or not you qualify for a free lawyer, then it is your obligation to be screened at the location identified in paragraph 5C of the bond checklist form that I'm going to give you tonight. If you do not hire an attorney or go to be screened, then you may be found to have waived your right to an attorney at your trial. You also have the right to represent yourself. However, you should be aware that self-representation can be dangerous. For example, there may be certain factual or legal defenses to your charge that you are not aware of, or legal issues related to the conduct of your trial or guilty plea that an attorney would know how to preserve for an appeal. If you exercise your right to proceed without a lawyer, then you are responsible for complying with all applicable rules of court, including rules of evidence, procedural rules, and proper behavior before the judge and jury. If convicted on the charges filed against you, in order to pay a fine, you may request a reasonable scheduled payment plan to pay that fine. It is your obligation to keep up with your trial date and to obtain an attorney, either by hiring one or by being screened and found eligible for a court-appointed attorney prior to your trial date. If you do not appear at your trial with your attorney, you may be deemed to have waived your right to have an attorney represent you. You are required to keep the court notified of any changes of address until the completion of your case. Do you understand everything I've read to you so far?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Graham, Ms. Graham, you're being charged with unlawful neglect of a child, and you're also being charged with destruction or desecration of human remains. Both of these are general sessions charges, which means you have an additional right. You have the right of a preliminary hearing. The preliminary hearing is an evidence hearing where the state has to show that they have the evidence to take you to court. If you want that hearing, take the form I'm going to give you and fill it out. You can mail it or take it to the address on that form, or you may fill it out tonight and give it back to me. But you only have a total of 10 days to make up your mind about whether you want that hearing or not and get the paperwork filled out. Otherwise, you lose your right to that hearing. Now, on the unlawful neglect of a child charge, I'm going to set a $15,000 bond. On the destruction or desecration of human remains charge, I'm going to set a $10,000 bond. That makes this set of bonds at $25,000. Now, it's my understanding you're still under a no bond for the other charges, so the bond here really doesn't make much difference because you can't get out by posting the money. But I have set a bond on it. Should the circuit court give you a bond on your other charges, then this would be added, the $25,000 will be added to the other charges. Do you have any questions I can answer for you?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Do you want to fill out that preliminary hearing?
I have an attorney.
All right. Would you like to fill out that preliminary hearing? Or do you want to think about it?
I will think about it.
All right. I'm going to hand you some papers. If you'll walk down to this lower window, please.
Regular month ending, yes. 23.